Hello traders, John at StockBookie.com. Today we're looking at the SPY, the IWM, the Qs, the DIA, the IYT, the USO, the usual suspects. We look at the daily, weekly, monthly time frames. We use technical analysis here at StockBookie.com. So we're above all the moving averages, and today, finally, I mean, it's just one day. Every time we close below, they pop it above. But wow, 2 months, and we actually closed below the 20 MA. I mean, really. I thought for sure they would recapture it, and actually after hours we're above it. But hey, you know what? We're not above it on the close at 217.70. So what I want to see is a little more follow through, and I want to see it close below the low of today, tomorrow. And then I think we could possibly get a little more downside. We do have a ton of support in here, so if this gap fill gets filled and we start breaking down and get to the 50 MA around 214.17, I think we're going to see some more selling. We'll wait for pattern or whatever develops up in this area, and we'll play it from there. But again, we did close below the 20. I guarantee with yelling out tomorrow, not guarantee, but they're going to try their hardest to pop this thing up and close it above here and tell everyone we're waiting on data and everything's good. Don't worry. Go out and buy your his and hers Escalades and a bigger house and possibly use the home equity line and buy a boat. So the weekly, an umbrella top or a rounded top. Overall, we're making a rounded top or a rolling top. Goes up, distribution goes up, distribution goes up. Some distribution's about to come in. Maybe it's this week, maybe it's next week, I'm not sure, but eventually we will be coming down. Tomorrow's close, we're looking for a close below 217.01. Then I'm thinking we're going to go right down into that 214 area and possibly come down to the 210.87 or the 20 moving average on the weekly. We are a little bit stretched from here, so it needs to come back in. It's just a matter of when. On light volume, tough task for markets to sell, but when they do, and if there's light volume selling, look out. Monthly chart, same thing. We broke above the all-time high. Next week, we're going to see if we close above this green candle. If we do, I want to see continuation buying and get above the all-time high of 219.60. And then I'll be a believer, thinking 220, then 223 to 225 at the highest. If you're not short already, you got to short up in that area, the 223 to 225. Let's go to the Qs. Qs, same thing. Let's go to the daily. Qs came in. Oh, did they close below? Whoa, wait a minute here. I didn't look at the Qs today. 116.60. Whoa, 5 pennies underneath. What is going on here? So we had this bullish consolidation. They tried popping it, came right in, trying to get through the 750 and recapture the all-time high. Have a little topping tail here. That was a fake print, though, so I'm surprised that's still in there, or an order that was out of order and it just clicked it up. But they're keeping it in. So as long as we don't close above that 118 area or 118.78 and confirm, I still believe we're going down. So first step of the process, we close below the 20. I want to see it close below 116.36 tomorrow. Then I believe we could come down and fill this gap right around the 115.69. If we do that, we'll wait for pattern, or maybe we'll get a bearish consolidation, let the 20 MA curl down in the price, and then I believe we're going to go here. Actually, let me take this. Gosh, I got a ton. You know what? Let me just clear all this crap. There, hey, that is a chart underneath there. All right, let's do this first. So we're up in here. Let's put the horizontal. I want to put this gap. There's a gap there. There's a gap here. There's a gap up in there. So yeah, so we're up in this area, and you got these low pivots too. That's going to be some resistance, and actually you have a gap here too. So we come back in. Well, they try to break it up just like the SPY. They're breaking it in. The 20 MA held it, but today they closed it 5 cents below the 20 MA. That's a little bit weak. You know, we'll see if they can pop it up on Yellen. She'll probably come out dovish tomorrow, and I think she's talking. I'm not really sure. I'm going to have to look that up tonight. If anybody knows, send me something on StockTwits under StockBookie and let me know what time she speaks. It's probably 2 o'clock or 1 o'clock, but I could be wrong. She's in Jackson Hole, or at least I think she is. Weekly chart, same thing. A nice little rounded top. Never gets above the 118.78 level. Starting to pull back, a little doji. Now we need to close below this low, which is around 116.47. If we do that, I would love to see it get back below the 115.61. That's a buck something down on the Qs, and we'd have to get some selling pressure to get down there. But if it does on a weekly close, Going to be really interesting. Then we'll wait for another setup on the daily and see which way this thing could possibly go. Monthly chart, we're still above the 115.90 or so area. We still have, what, a couple days, maybe 3 or 4 trading days on the month. So let's see if we could close above 115.90. If we do, or this big green bar, then I want to see it close again above 118.78, some continuation. If not, I believe we're going down. Volume's disappearing on the monthly charts. That tells me we're running out of time, because if they can't get these markets rolling with no volume, we have bigger problems. IWM was up 24 cents, a little bit stronger than the rest. So on the daily, we came back into this pivot up here around 122.60. It bounced up back into the 124.45, right in that area again. That's a big area, and that comes from, yeah, it's better to see it on the weekly chart. On the weekly chart, we're into this area, and it just can't get above it. And this is where we started breaking down here, but then we really started breaking down right here as well. So that was a breakdown bar. Can't get above it. I want to see it close below or above, and then I want to see us get above 125.71. And then, like I said, I still don't believe this thing's going to go up. And this one is a leader. This one should be leading the way, not lagging. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. We could take this one out. Gosh, I have a ton of lines in this one too. I don't even know how the heck I read this thing, but I do. But you have the 120 area. You're going to have some good support with this breakdown. Then ultimately, you're going to go into this sloping trend line, and we'll determine, as it trickles down. If it trickles up, you're looking at gap fill up in this area around 127.57, and you still have to get above the 123 area, 123.50, and then the 125.71 before we continue. This is looking really, really tired. Oh man, love this. We'll see. We'll know more tomorrow. It's the weekly close. So, and the monthly chart, same thing, 123.47. That was part of the big breakdown here, and then we came right back in, almost retraced, and then we boom, sold off. Then we had the big bounce. We've been 7 months up, and we're overdue. This is going to be it, I believe, guys. We're going up on no volume, just hopes and dreams, no participation. When there's more participation in these markets, it's going to be distribution. And again, the IWM isn't leading, not good. Let's get into the DIA. DIA was down 29 cents, nothing great. We have a doji on the monthly, so same thing, doji. I'd like to see it close below 183.37. We're going to know more next week on the monthly. Let's go to the daily. Daily, though, interesting action. So we came above, made a little topping tail, a little bit of a bearish pattern, pulled back, holding up by the 20 moving averages, and now boom, we're closed below. I want to see it close below, say, 184.07. Even 180.84.10, 11. I want to see it close in that area. And I think we're going to fast track right to here, right around 182.46. If this area of support does not hold, or we set up in a bearish pattern, I still think we're going down here. We have a gap to fill right here, and we have a gap to fill down here. We have a gap as well as the 618, which is a big retrace right around 176.64. But I still think we could come down to the 200 moving average. And if this thing's really coming in, I think we'll pierce it. We'll hit the 750. We'll fill the gap. And then maybe short-term bounce, buy an option for a day or two or call option. And then boom, do it again. We'll see where it retraces and we'll short it. But we're still waiting for pattern. I'd like this thing to hit the 50, bounce sideways, and then continue down. But wishful thinking doesn't help what the stock's going to do. IYT. Same thing as the IWM, not leading, not good. Let's just go right into the monthly here. Same thing. I want to get above the 20 and the 750 retrace, and I believe this thing can go higher. But even if it does, the highest maybe 147, 148 area. I mean, we still have a ton of pivots in there. Let's stick this horizontal line right there. 146.01 to 147.80, 148, and of course you got this pivot here around a little bit over 150. But if we get over 150, I mean, this isn't a bad bullish pattern, a little bit choppy, but with this curling down on top of it, the 20 MA, just not a good signal. Weekly, same thing. We went up, we pulled back. It's a bearish or a bullish pattern. We're above the MAs, we're above this trend line here, and above this big one down in this area. But this action today, we try to break out, hits it, breaks out, hits this resistance up in here, and now we just reverse. And I love that we closed below this low today. Now we got that. I'm going to erase this one. That's the 20 moving. So if we get below the 20 moving average, right around 140.78, we're heading down. We're heading down right here to gap fill, right around 138.62 again. And then if we crack the 2200 MA, that's what it was holding on back here. We're going down. And then we'll look at the weekly. Same thing. We get below these MAs. We get below the 382 around 138. I really believe we're going to 133, and then possibly this lower trend line right around 129, 130, and then possibly double bottom. We got to see. We got to wait for pattern, see what happens. Still real early. If we go up again, it's got to recapture the 145, 146 area, and then maybe go higher. Then we'll go heading into the 150. But if you're long this one, tighten your stops. If it continues up, sell up in this area and short. If you're short already, if it moves up, add more up here. But I really think once we break these two moving averages, this one's going downtown. Monthly, same thing. As long as we stay below this 20 MA, we're okay. You know, final price 130.80 down in this area. If that cracks, double bottom, and then we'll reevaluate as it goes down or sets up for pattern. Again, IYT is lagging. USO was up 1.2%. They're still trying to get the bulls on. We're still holding on to these 50 moving average and the 200 moving average. But it's funny now. We move up, we come in. Now we have an inside bar bearish pattern in a macro bull slightly. I'd rather see it a little more up here consolidation, not a little breakdown then sideways. So I'm thinking this is going to set up in a bearish manner. We'll wait for pattern. Or if it breaks below these MAs, we're going to have a little bit of a support here and then gap fill. If these break, I think we're heading down to this gap fill right around 980, and then possibly double bottom here at 923. Let's look at the weekly chart. Weekly chart's telling us a little bit more. We were up today, so really not a lot going on other than we got it almost above the 50 MA. It rejected it. It closed below the MAs now. Weak stance. We're below the 618 at 1119. So right now, technically, it's a little bit weak. We're below the moving averages, but it's still holding up. The daily chart's going to tell us a little bit more. If we could go sideways a couple more days and then fall, then we'll know a little more. This is still in a neutral stance, so we'll give it. We'll see where the close is tomorrow, and we'll go from there. Monthly chart, same thing. Down, sideways, bearish inside bar till we close above this high, right around 1165 or so. I still believe we're heading lower, and the lower prices. I'm telling you, pencil this in, 646 on the USL. I don't know if it's going to get there, but I always have to have my areas. When I had the 911 in here, everyone was laughing, and then it went down. I mean, we went down to 767, and I think, where did I have that? I had it on another. I had it at one point, but my last level was right around 812 at one point, and it went through 812, so everyone laughed at me with that one too. So that's the USO. Not saying much. If you're short, stick with it. I think we could get a little more out of it, and then we'll take it from there. But today we had a couple good scalp trades. We took off NVIDIA. We did scalp the SPY a couple times, and we scalped Alta after hours. That was a fun one. We ended up getting about $7 on the second half on one of our scalps, which was excellent. Hit it pretty much right on, covered. It shot right back up. We shorted it again and took it again for 2 times actually, and the last time it went $7 we got on it. It was awesome. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for watching my videos. I hope it's helping some people out there. If you have any questions or comments, send me an email at stockbookie@gmail.com. Thanks again. God bless. See you on the charts.